Hey boys and girls, my name is Mr. Smith, and I've been working with your teachers to create an awesome set of lessons for you. You all are in for a real treat. We're talking all about comparing and contrasting. So that means we're talking about how to find things that are the same or similar and things that are different in stories. So your teachers and I created this awesome thing called a rubric. Now a rubric tells you or shows you what a really nice expectation is or a really nice answer is, and then what a answer that's not so nice looks like as well. So we have here contrasting sentences and comparing sentences. Now let me tell you about what a contrasting sentence is. A contrasting sentence talks all about how things are different. For example, in this picture, we have Rapunzel and Snow White. Rapunzel and Snow White are not the same in that Rapunzel wears a purple dress, whereas Snow White wears a blue dress. That's how they're not the same. That's an example of a contrasting sentence. It's a sentence that talks about how two events, people, or things are not the same. Now, if you're talking about the opposite type of sentence, that would be a comparing sentence. A comparing sentence talks all about how things are the same. Let me go back to our Rapunzel and Snow White example. Rapunzel and Snow White are similar because they are both girls. Rapunzel is a girl and Snow White is a girl. That makes them similar. So that is an example of a comparing sentence. All right, so those are comparing and contrasting sentences. Now let's quickly look at our rubric. In order to get the best score possible on your sentences for contrasting, you have to tell me a clear contrasting word, something like not the same, different, not similar, and you need to tell me two pieces of evidence that prove that they're not similar. Here's an example sentence. Rapunzel is different from Snow White because Rapunzel has long blonde hair and Snow White has short black hair. See how I gave that contrasting word? And I gave two examples of how they're not the same. They have different colored hair. And I talked about Rapunzel's blonde hair and Snow White's black hair. All right, so if we look over at a to sentence, it has a contrasting word, but it only has one evidence, so that will only get you a 2. This sentence has a contrasting word, but no evidence, so that will only get you a 1. And this sentence has no evidence and no contrasting word. If you don't do that, then I can't give you any points because you don't have anything that shows the differences. All right, so you have to do two contrasting sentences. Now, let's talk about comparing sentences. In a comparing sentence has to have Rapunzel and Snow White are similar because both of them have cruel stepmothers, with Rapunzel's being Gothel and Snow White's being the wicked queen. See how I gave you two examples of how they're similar? And I said the word similar, so this would be a 3-point sentence. Here's a 2-point sentence. Has a comparing word and clear evidence with at least one piece of evidence from at least one story. Rapunzel and Snow White are the same and they are both princesses. Here's one that has no evidence, which would only get you 1 point, but has a comparing word. Rapunzel and Snow White are the same. Okay, so that'll only get you a score of 1, which isn't the best score, so maybe stay away from that one. And then the last one is a score of 0. Snow White and Rapunzel are pretty. That doesn't even talk anything at all about what makes them the same or what makes them different. And it doesn't have the comparing word, and it doesn't have the evidence. All right, everyone, so now you understand, hopefully, how to use this rubric. Think about it when you're creating your sentences. What score are you going to try to get? And put that score in your mind as you're putting together your sentences, and I think you'll be really excited to see what you make. All right, thanks a lot.